Thank you, guys. Okay, I'll just test this works. It works. I'm going to start with a question. How many people here run their own business, employ a team, and pay them through PAYE? Okay, not anymore. Okay. Okay, so not many, but you probably all know businesses that employ people and run their own payroll, so or run a payroll. So Paycircle is a payroll platform that we say anyone can use. So a lot of small businesses, as soon as they employ a team of people and pay them through the PAYE scheme, they normally outsource this function to an accountant because it's complicated. But more importantly, there's a compliance element, and they don't want to get it wrong, because if you pay people and it's wrong, it's not very good. So we've been doing a lot of stuff for the last sort of, well, not me personally, but our team have been doing a lot of stuff in compliance software for the last 20 years. And this is one of our latest products, and it's basically a payroll platform that anyone can onboard themselves with very minimal information and use very quickly, so hopefully in 7 minutes. So the first thing we wanted to show is how to actually run a payroll. And we had a question, do you think you could run payroll in 7 minutes? But if you haven't done it before, then maybe you wouldn't know. But basically, what happens when you run a payroll is that you have a bunch of employees, they get paid a salary every month, and every month when you pay them, you say whether they have any additions to that payroll, and if they do, or to that pay run, if they do, you make those additions. You normally send this information to your accountant, and they do it for you, but you add some amendments to the pay run, and then you run that payroll. So it's as simple as that, but if you have seen payroll software in the past, it's normally full of jargon and questions that not many people want to even try to understand. So we've basically built an interface that, once it's set up, anyone can run their own payroll, and we pretty much guarantee that. And also, there's a setting up process. So what Eddie's doing right now is we've got a bunch of people set up with a company called SFR Limited, which stands for the Swiss Family Robinson. And the members of the company are all members of the Swiss Family Robinson family. And basically what Eddie's doing at the moment is he is adding changes to the people in the team. So Eddie, if you go back to the current payroll and just show the team as it stands. 1 second. Just adding a custom adjustment. This is all live, by the way. It's all cloud-based and being run on the... We don't have a backup, unfortunately. So for anyone who logs into their own payroll for the first time, they'd see their team listed in a list like this. They have the ability to just click on the button that says add a change, just add a change, save and close it, and then it updates what that change is. And Eddie's just going through the motions here of adding some changes. There you can review the people who have changes, and at the end you can just take a quick look of all of the things that Eddie's added there. So fundamentally you've got your normal payroll that everybody gets paid their amount, and any additions, bonuses, holiday, anything like that just gets added as a little adjustment, and then you're in the land of just previewing what you've done. No. Yeah. And it's just there you can see how much you're paying out in salaries, how much you're paying the inland revenue in PAYE and national insurance. And you can download those reports and share them with anyone. And at that point, you can preview what your payroll is going to look like by building your pay slips, downloading I'll come over here, a report that just shows the basic numbers of what you need to pop into people's bank accounts. So in the land of once you've got your team set up, you can just add some basic adjustments. And we're in a test run here at the moment because I think we've got somebody's live PAYE reference in there. So we're not going to run it properly. We're not going to send some information to HMRC and get someone in trouble. But basically, once you've added all the changes, you can just very quickly approve payroll. Now, what happens when you approve payroll is everything happens in the background. So all the compliance stuff just happens, and which is being processed here. And also, it's building all the pay slips and sending everyone in your team an email to tell them that they've been paid. Of course, we can go on and show things like how to add somebody who's just joined the team and how to mark somebody as leaving the team. But fundamentally, it's that simple. So you just, once the team's set up, you just add some minor adjustments and then run your payroll. We think that took less than 7 minutes, hope so, because we've got some other bits to show. So that's sort of fundamentally the running of a payroll once it's been set up. One other thing to mention, I think Eddie's got it open here, is that one of the key things that we're trying to do with Payday is take it away from being a compliance process and put it back in the heart of the business, which is about paying your team. And what that means is your team also having access to this information online. So it's not just a piece of paper with some random numbers on that nobody really knows what they mean, apart from the tax figure, which seems to create a lot of pain. Thank you. Basically, everyone gets a login to their own pay portal, where they can log in and view their pay, and even if they have a problem with their pay, ask our team questions. So there's a support button that says, why have I paid too much tax, which is a question we get quite a lot. Just a very quick one. I don't know if anyone knows the new rules around pensions auto-enrolment. There's a new piece of legislation in the UK which says any business that employs at least one person has to set up a pension for that person or their team. And this is causing small businesses quite a lot of distress because they have to now grapple with something else. We've completely automated that in the system. So pension contributions are directly linked to payroll. So what happens in the background is as soon as your date kicks in that you have to comply, the Paycircle software assesses your whole team and actually sends them a communication through their portal that tells them whether they need to join, whether they've been invited and what their contributions are going to be. And through the portal, they can, well, not directly opt out, but there's a way of opting out. They can take payment holidays, they can change their contribution levels. It's sort of putting control back in the hands of the employee. And also it means that the business owner can set everything up without having to get too bogged down in the actual compliance around all of this stuff, because the system takes care of it all and just tells everybody what's happening. So, okay, thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Massive round of applause. Once again, please raise your hand for questions or comments. In the meantime, I just want to say I really like the use of graphics on the site. Really nice, and some of the fonts really cool. Really cool. And happy that the Swiss Family Robinson got paid. Right, another question at the back.
Hey there, guys. The product looks great. The UX and UI look really intuitive. So my question, I do have to pay people rather through PAYE. The whole experience for me happens through Geniac, who you might, or by the look on your face, might not be aware of. So there are accountants. And I guess my question for you is, how do you make it make sense to me that this should be something that I engage with directly? The slightly more macro point being, if I don't understand that payroll is easy and therefore something that I can either carve out of what I pay my accountants to do or not, I don't really have a view on it, right? I'm ultimately just going to hand it over because it's not that expensive.
Yeah, you've hit the nail on the head, actually. That is exactly what we're grappling with. It's our market is small businesses who have never done their own payroll before and don't really have the appetite for doing it. But our research has said that we've asked lots of people, if you could do it yourself, would you? And I think 60% of a poll of about 400 small businesses said they wanted to do it themselves. But how? How do we do it ourselves? One of the things that we have done is we've built collaboration in so that your accountant has a login too, so that you can do as much of the process that you want. But if you still want a little extra comfort around having somebody else to review it, your accountant can review it too. But one of the things for us is actually that exact point. How do we help people understand that this is something that they would normally outsource, but now with the use of intuitive software, actually it's not that complicated. The complicated stuff is under the bonnet, and we just want to surface your team. You know, this is what do you do with your team. So it's an interesting one. If you've got any ideas, then that would be wonderful.
Well, I just wonder, I mean, you obviously have to position yourself relative to something. So the reference behavior shift that you're trying to drive is against what? Actually, it's not against, look, my view would be sample of, N+1. It's not people thinking about doing payroll. It's thinking about people outsourcing accountancy and inherently probably also payroll versus doing something else. So how you position yourself relative to that message is to me when I'm making that decision is the thing that matters.
Yeah, I know. Exactly. So one of the reasons why we're sort of launching now, we've had this product for quite a while. We've been using it with a completely different interface for ourselves for a while. But what's come along now is auto-enrolment for small businesses. So lots of small businesses are really grappling with this pension piece. And they're staging from sort of now for the next 2 years. And we're sort of hoping that on the back of that pain, it's because it deals with auto-enrolment so seamlessly and it is part of payroll, we're sort of using that lever to sort of say, but that's even more complicated. It's a very it's sort of complex messaging that we're trying to sort of cut through. You can do this stuff yourself. You don't need to pay professionals to do it.
Nice one. Brilliant discussion. Another question over here.
Hi. Actually, it's kind of adding to what you've just said. So I don't have a business myself, but my dad actually runs a small business, and he's had a really big issue with the pension thing, because quite a lot of providers for the pension services, they'll only work with companies that have like a huge number of employees. There aren't that many solutions for small businesses. I don't know whether it's worth, as you said, actually maybe rebranding a little bit and focusing on providing a solution for that problem as the starting point, and then saying, oh, by the way, we can actually do your payroll as well.
Yes, that was how we started. We used to have the branding was Paycircle Easy Enroll. And over time, we've sort of dropped the easy enroll, but that's a really valid point because maybe there's a case for bringing it back and majoring on it for the next sort of period of time. We're positioning ourselves as a sort of a new player in the payroll space, but what's the pain that people are feeling at the moment is the pension piece. So yeah, that's really interesting, actually.
Any more questions?
Hi there. Actually, I do one of the few small companies that actually do our own payroll. I mean, we use an accountant, obviously, and we use Sage Payroll as a desktop. Now, it's actually extremely complicated desktop application. There's hundreds of fields on there that I ignore every month when I run it. And this is a nice, simple application. Now, Sage do an online version as well, which I'm sort of tempted by because of the sort of arduous updates you get every month when you're just about to do your payroll using the desktop. But they've limited their number of employees that you can use on their online system by 15. I don't know why they've limited to 15. But how does your I mean, Sage is one of the largest accounting packages, probably used in the UK. Probably not familiar with too many people in this room, but how do you compare with Sage Payroll Online, for instance?
Pricing, number of people?
Functionality. I mean, obviously they're probably one of your most significant competitors in the UK. I mean, and they obviously integrate with the accounting package, which is one thing. Obviously, once I've done the payroll, I've then got to submit the journal entries into the Sage accounting package. So obviously it's great that payments go to the employees, but then you've got your compliance, and I need to obviously put that into my accounting package, make the nest payments. So one, how do you compare with Sage Payroll Online, for instance? And do you have an accounting package as well that you sell as part of your overall business model?
I'll start with the accounting package. We don't have our own, although that's on the horizon. At the moment, our plan is to link with Xero. Now, Xero do have their own payroll product, but I don't think it's that brilliant for the UK space, and it certainly doesn't grapple with the new pension rules. But the plan to link with Xero is simply because I think they share philosophies with the way that we want to work, collaboration, ease of use, that sort of stuff. So that's our first port of call. In fact, I've got the guys at the back know way more about that than I do. I focus on the payroll stuff, but these guys are doing stuff with the accounting software all the time. With regards to how it compares, the first thing is that we'd like to think, we didn't get on to showing the onboarding process, but to onboard your own team for both payroll and pension auto-enrollment, obviously depending on the size of the team, but take a team of like 10 people, we reckon it would take no more than half an hour. If you've ever looked at Sage 1, I mean, you're obviously competent, you obviously use payroll software, and I know exactly what you said, you don't use half the stuff. Well, exactly for that reason, we've stripped everything out and just put the basics in because that's what we think people want. And if people want more, we'll add it in, but we'll be very thoughtful, and we don't want to clutter the UI at all because our market is small businesses with fairly simple needs. And with regards to do we cap it, no. Our pricing model is like £1 per person per month, and that's for payroll and auto-enrollment. It links to Nest automatically, and it's through the API and does everything automatically. No, sorry. To the employees? No. We can do backs files, but the payments... Yes. No. But yeah, if we can, then we will. You just know that it's happening for you. Yeah. Yeah. Well, it'd be really interesting to talk to you if you've got 5 minutes afterwards, because this is if you're using this stuff, and I'd love to hear your pain because everything you tell us we can build into our system.
That's right. We're going to have to cut you off there. But thank you very much for your feedback, and there is opportunity to talk afterwards.